Live from iRacing's virtual Daytona International Speedway, welcome sim racing fans to the fourth round of the Racecraft TV Rallycross Championship live on Racecraft TV. Happy that all of you are along for the ride with us here on this beautiful Sunday evening. My name is Joshua Lee, and alongside me in the commentary booth is Jordan Hicks. And Jordan, this fourth round is set to be very interesting. As looking at the points as we come into today, we'll start with RX2 because that's what we have coming up first. The two drop weeks, which will drop the two worst finishes from their points, have been accounted for. So the top three are currently the three winners from the three feature races we have had this season.
And, definitely all the points are so close. So it's a tight battle up at the top. And, these drivers are really going to fight here, especially at the Daytona Rallycross course. So it's going to lead to an amazing race here tonight.
And of course, points will be up for grabs tonight in those heat races, as well as the feature race in both RX2 and RX1. They share the same points format. Some small differences when it comes to RX2 and RX1. We're taking a look at the race analysis right now for RX2. 5-lap heats. Top 4 will advance. A 5-lap LCQ with the top 2 advancing to make a 10-car, 10-lap main. That is the same across both of the series, but down at the bottom, that is where they get very different. An 8x incident limit for the RX2 class, a 6x incident limit for RX1, and RX2 will be fixed setup for the entire championship. RX1 will have open setups. And talking about the Daytona International Speedway, I mean, what a fantastic place this is. One of the best places to see a race, whether it's Rallycross, whether it's the 24 Hours of Daytona, or whether it is the NASCAR Cup Series, Jordan. Daytona is so historic, and a win here means a lot, whether it's real life or the sim.
Definitely, and it always leads for those interesting races, interesting finales in the races, and so every single time you see a driver in at least P1, you always expect P2 to be right behind them. So it's just a good place to, have some great battles and finish off a race.
Of course, here in Rallycross, not going to have a lot of pack racing, but we will have that close racing that you mentioned there. I want to remind you that all track and car cameras for tonight were created by Istvan Balo at trackcams22.com. A couple seconds remaining here in qualifying, and we get a look at the schedule for the rest of the season. We've already put Phoenix, Sonoma, and Charlotte behind us. We have the Daytona International Speedway here this week. We'll go just slightly up the road, some odd, about 6 hours to the Atlanta Motor Speedway and go racing there in the virtual world. Then we go up to Iowa. Then we go to the European side of the calendar, Brands Hatch, Barcelona, and Hell-Lankabanen there in a 3 rounds of Europe portion, and then we finish off the season Phoenix, Sonoma, and Charlotte, expected to be an 3 exciting rounds to finish off the season. We've already had 1 round at each of those racetracks, so it'll be the second time we go there for these cars and in this championship. Just like that, qualifying has rounded its way out, and we're getting ready to go green flag racing in heat number 1 for the RX2 class. And it is time to take a look at your starting grid here for RX2 heat number 1. And grabbing that pole position is going to be Tor Andre Borison. He starts on the pole with James Watson in P2. Christopher Plumley, Andrew Howell on that second row with Crystal King and Casey Seoul, rounding out the 6 drivers who are getting set to take the green flag here from virtual Daytona. And Jordan, heat number 1 is going to set the pace for the rest of the day.
Definitely. So we're going to see how hard these drivers want to fight, and some interesting stuff, because you never know what could happen in Rallycross. You can see some flips in some cars and amazing passes by these drivers we have tonight. So I'm looking forward to it, and these drivers are about to be ready to go green.
Dual 3 wide rows to start this race out. It's time for the first heat of the day here at Racecraft TV Rallycross RX2. Tor-Andre Borison with the inside line heading into turn number 1, and let's go racing. It's a great start from Borison at the front, but they're going to continue to battle further back as they go into the first corner. It's 2x2 all the way through. Crystal King gets a little bit too much on the curve on the inside line. They settle it out heading into the dirt. It's Andre Borison getting a great jump. Christopher Plumley behind. Take a look at the battle between James Watson and Casey Seoul. They're trying to protect that spot away from Andrew Howell. Crystal King going way down the order, down into last place, still battling here for P4 as they go side by side off of the dirt section. Oh, and my, a huge flip! That is huge from the 57, Casey Seoul, up and over onto their lid, and that is the end of the race for the 57. What a wild incident to begin this heat, Jordan. I've seen something like that a couple of times, but man, just went up and over, flipping end over end.
And that's the thing, what I said, you may see some flips. You can just see that whole rear end of that car right here hit that little berm and just completely send it forward and just put into a barrel roll motion. Luckily he landed it, so it was a nice little rollover sort of save he did right there, but unfortunately a tough break and a tough end of the night for him.
So Tor-Andre Borison now leads the way at the front of the field. Still has yet to take that Joker. Andrew Howell and Casey Seoul, who, by the way, still running on the racetrack, are able to continue with... I've taken the Joker. Add Tor-Andre Borison, your current race leader, to that list. As he comes into the Joker lane, he'll go on to lap number 3. A little sideways coming over the jump, but all good, all well. He stays going forward. Battle for P2 here. Now remember, the transfer spot is P4, and there's a little bit of a battle further back here, but a mistake from Andrew Howell in the 666. It's going to move them a little bit farther back from the number 278 of Crystal King. Let's see if that number 666 of Andrew Howell is going to be able to catch up as you're on board with the 278 now, trying to run away, and that is exactly what she is doing right now in the transfer spot, Jordan. Important that she runs away in P4 so she can get that spot in the feature. Still needs to take the Joker, however. The 666 of Andrew Howell has already taken it.
And you know, definitely, especially when you're fighting for that transfer spot, you really got to make sure you're on your A game when you're either running away from it or when you're trying to catch it, because you don't want to run out of time when you're behind P4, and so you really want to try and stay up close to their bumper and make sure you have enough time at the end of the race to make for a pass and hopefully get into that transfer spot.
Continuing on at the front of the field, still Tor-Andre Borison. It'll be white flag this time by for heat number 1. Running away with the heat win right now is the 55 of Tor-Andre Borison. Not really too shocking. The Scandinavian has been really fast in RX2. Still looking for that first win when it comes to the feature race. Some solid speed here in heat number 1. Going to open a lot of eyes. Further back, another mistake for Andrew Howell. Or a Joker lap from Crystal King, I should say. I'm going to move the 278 further up into the transfer spot in P4. And that Factory Sim Sport Shenandoah Shine Subaru WRX STI going to continue racing in P4. Christopher Plumley still needs to take the Joker lap, but doesn't look like it might help him too much, as coming across the line, Tor-Andre Borison is going to walk away with the first heat race win of the day. He takes the first one. James Watson to the outside line. Here comes Plumley with the Joker. Is it enough for P2? No, it is not. Plumley going to have to settle for P3. James Watson takes over to P2, and that concludes the first heat of the day here from Virtual Daytona. Real quick look at those race results from the first heat, and a great win for Tor-Andre Borison, Watson, Plumley, and King going to join them in the feature. And we will have the starting grid for the feature for you here in just a moment as the field gets ready to take to the grid. And remember, this is RX2 that is out here on the track for warm-up right now, and we're getting ready for the RX2 feature race, and you can catch all the action from RX1 once again coming up immediately after the conclusion of RX2. Time to take a look at your feature race starting grid, as on the pole it is going to be the number 099 of Zach Knowles. What a great effort through the heats for that 099 machine. And your other heat winner going to start right to that outside as we get you a full look at the starting grid here in just a moment. As we cross over into the feature race, here is your full starting grid. It's Zach Knowles on the front row alongside Tor Andre Borison, your winner from heat number 1. James Watson going to share out that top 3 that will start on the first row. Back from there, it's Zachary Drapkin, Christopher Plumley, and Trevor Teal. And back all the way through your starting grid, it's Crystal King, Thomas Grady, Andrew Howell, and Casey Seoul. Time to take to the green flag here from the virtual Daytona International Speedway. All 10 cars are on the grid for the feature race. It's RX2 feature time in Daytona. The lights come up. Let's go racing. What an electric start from Zach Knowles in the middle. He's going to take the lead. How many drivers are we going to have out in turn number 1? They've beaten him banging into the corner. Christopher Plumley goes damage in the middle. Trevor Teal has to go way wide at the International Horseshoe. It's Knowles with the lead. It's Tor Andre Borison trying to fight from P2. As they all go into the road for the first time. Zachary Drapkin gets turned around further back. He's able to save it, but Plumley's around at the jump. They continue to fight.
I checked up to
Andrew
give Crystal
Howell
room.
it back to the pit lane with Zach Knowles leading the way here early in the feature. What a start for Zach Knowles at the front of this field. Now, the timing tower will say Andrew Howell. Little update as the field goes right on by him. He towed into the pit lane on that opening lap. Borison, Watson, King now gonna go way wide. The International Horseshoe looks like they might have a problem or a slowdown. Zachary Drapkin, same thing, very slow with the slowdown. He gets back going in P7, but Jordan Chaos on the opening lap, but a battle for the lead is starting to develop.
And we said this from the start, the 099 of Knowles, he's going to run this race the best he can, and you can see he's really perfectly timing those corners, and he's fighting off the 55 of Borison, and so he's really looking to try and take home that second win in a row, and he's really looking like he's got that chance to because he's running so consistent. Yes, he's got that Joker lap, but maybe we'll see what we saw last in the consolation where the driver used it on the last lap, but you can see the 55 of Borison using his now, and he's going to take over the lead from the 099 of Knowles.
Great move from Borison, but it's all not going to be worth anything as Zach Knowles goes right back to his back bumper. Now, remember that Joker Lane Delta is about a second and a half, somewhere around that range. So that's the amount of time that they are going to gain over a driver that does not take their Joker lap. So Tor Andre Borison, even though he did get his Joker Lane done and he is in the lead, Jordan, once Zach Knowles comes into the Joker, that lead is going to be gone because here it comes right here. Tor Andre Borison was not in front by enough time, and Zach Knowles is going to go right back to the lead. As you take a look on board with Borison, he's still close to the 099, though he can still make a move for this win as they both have their Joker lanes over and done.
And I'm curious to know how long the 099 of Knowles is going to be able to fight for it. But you can see the 55 is right on his side, on his right side of that 099 machine. So these drivers are really going at it tonight to really take home that win. You see the 55 having to check up a little bit on that corner, but he makes it work, and he's still on the bumper of the 099.
Racing now for the win. Both of them are fast. Both of them are close together now. James Watson still needs to Joker from P3. He's 6 seconds back from this fight. Not in the battle for the lead. It is just these two at the front of the field. And it looks like an incident for Casey Seoul. She gets turned around over by turn 7 and goes back onto the racetrack. We'll stay with the battle for the lead as it is just swapped as Zach Knowles gets turned around coming off of the jump. Watson goes on by. We'll get a replay for you now. But what a development in the battle for the lead of the RX2 feature race win as Knowles gets turned around coming off the jump. And there's the contact. There's the flip. He's going to move down into P3 now, Jordan.
And you know, that's the thing. He's really going to have to fight for it if he really wants that race win now, because it threw him, like you said, down to P4, but now he's back up into P3. He's already got his Joker done and dealt with, so all he's got to do is really run his own race and just really try and make up that time game that he's lost.
There was that flip on the Racecraft TV replay. And now that moves Tor Andre Borison back up to the lead here in this feature race. Most of the field has their Joker laps over and done, and we continue to fight here in the feature. Teal now able to get by Zach Knowles, and you can see that front end punched in on that car, Jordan. Would not be surprised if that Subaru is starting to feel some effects of engine damage, because that entire front end is pushed way in on that 099.
And definitely you can't really run with damage like that, because it's just going to keep slowing you down lap by lap. So you better hope that car's still running at 110% like he did at the start, because he was running so many fast laps. And you can still see he's trying to run his line, but that car just seems a little slower than normal. But it's going to be a tough battle if he wants to make it back up to the top.
And not a lot of time to do it. 4 laps to go. Here it'll be 3 at the line in the RX2 feature race. Remember, right after this race is concluded, we're going green for RX1, so make sure that you stay tuned. This is not the only Rallycross racing we're going to have today. Is what a drift coming through the International Horseshoe for Tor Andre Borison. He feels confident at the front of the field, and he flies over the jump with 3 laps remaining now here from virtual Daytona. The gap back to James Watson. You can see it up on your timing tower. 3.8 to make that 4 seconds now as it climbs way on up. But Tor Andre Borison is feeling confident out there, Jordan. He's drifting it into every corner.
Definitely he's got to be careful, though, because you better hope P2 is not right there and he just doesn't know. But, a great night for the 55 right now. We saw him earlier on tonight, and he was doing just so amazing, and coming out here to the main, he's rocking first place. You can see as low as P2, and so he's gonna hopefully walk away with this win, as he's got 3 to go. Well, 2 to go now.
2 laps to go, and that gap is fluctuating between first and second place, but still over 3.5 seconds, an average gap over P2. So Borison looking rather stout at the front of the field and looking to walk away with this win. Not a lot of battles going on the track currently. The closest battle is the battle between Dratkin and Trevor Teal, as they battle for P3 currently on the racetrack, so we'll keep you updated on your race leader as he comes through the International Horseshoe, the final corner on this track, and across the line it'll be white flag. 1 final lap to go here in the RX2 feature race. Tor Andre Borison with this feature race win is going to keep the streak alive of a unique winner in each feature race, and with the drop weeks being counted, also looking to jump himself up in the points standings. Through the final couple of corners and down the final straightaway and into the final corner, Tor Andre Borison, a celebratory drift through the final corner. The 55 machine is victorious from Daytona. And what a win for Tor Andre Borison. We've been talking about him since the first race. The Scandinavian is always fast and keeping up his fast ways here at Daytona with his first win of the season. And Zach Knowles, with a damaged Subaru, gonna come home P7 on the day. Well, an exciting night of RX2 action concludes just like that.
Good race, guys.
Let's take a look at your full race results here from the RX2 feature race. Tor Andre Borison able to walk away with that race win. It's James Watson P2, Trevor Teal P3, Zachary Drapkin P4 with Christopher Plumley rounding out your top 5. Zach Knowles, Thomas Grady, Crystal King, Casey Seoul, and Andrew Howell rounding out the remainder of those spots. Jordan, what an exciting way to start off the action here. We had everything we could have asked for in that feature, a close battle for the lead, and unfortunate for Zach Knowles, one mistake took him right out of that race win.
Definitely I thought he was going to take home that win here tonight, but, just like you said, one thing could mess up your whole entire night, and we saw that, unfortunately, for that 099 of Zach Knowles. But, like you were talking about, we had a lot that we asked for tonight. We saw some flips, we saw some saves, and we saw some great battling for the lead, so a definitely interesting night for RX2.
That is going to wrap up our coverage here on Racecraft TV of Racecraft TV Rallycross. And make sure that you tune in to the iRacing Rallycross World Championship, as their season will get started this Wednesday. You do not want to miss it. The qualifying series was an exciting one. A great crop of rookie drivers are going in, as well as the best of the veterans of the series. They start their season at the Daytona International Speedway long course, the exact same course that you saw here today. And we will follow the official iRacing Rallycross World Championship schedule every week, so you can tune into Racecraft TV Rallycross on the Sunday before and get a preview of what you will see on iRacing's social medias come on Wednesday. So tune in for that one, and make sure you tune in 1 week's time when we go racing from the virtual Atlanta Motor Speedway here in Racecraft TV Rallycross. For Trevor Teal at Racecraft TV Rallycross, for Josh Edmondson at Racecraft TV, car and track cameras by Istvan Ballo, and for my colleague in the booth, Jordan Hicks, my name is Joshua Lee. Thank you so much for tuning in to live coverage of round number 4 of Racecraft TV Rallycross from virtual Daytona, and we'll see you in 1 week's time for round 5 from virtual Atlanta.